Mia, I have some good news.
Oh, now I'm curious.
I finally got the chance to answer Tell Me About Yourself.
No way. How did it go?
Honestly, much better than I expected. I kept it simple, talked about where I'm from, what I do, and the couple of things I enjoy. It didn't feel like a speech anymore.
That's exactly how it should feel.
I even walked away thinking, maybe I don't need to prepare a 5-minute answer every time someone asks me a question.
That's already a big improvement.
I thought the conversation was over, but then the person smiled and asked me something else.
Let me guess. Another one of those questions that sounds simple.
Exactly. They said, Tell me about your family.
I like that question.
I do too. I just wasn't sure where to begin.
That's a very different problem from not knowing English.
Right. I wasn't looking for words, I was trying to decide what made sense to share first.
That's a much more interesting question.
I kept thinking, do I start with my parents, my brother? Should I talk about everyone? How much is enough?
You know what I'd probably do?
What?
I'd imagine I was talking to a new friend over coffee instead of answering a question.
Why?
Because nobody meets someone new expecting their entire family history. They're usually just looking for a place to start the conversation.
That makes sense.
If I asked you about your family while we were having coffee, what would be the first thing that came to your mind?
Probably, I have one brother.
And that's already enough to keep talking.
It still feels a little short.
I used to feel exactly the same way.
Really?
Yeah, then I noticed something. Every time I gave a short answer, the other person naturally became curious.
Curious about what?
Almost anything. They'd ask if my brother was older or younger. They'd ask where my family lived. They'd ask if we spent a lot of time together.
So they were helping the conversation move forward.
Exactly. I wasn't carrying the whole conversation by myself anymore.
I like that idea.
Think about it. Good conversations are usually shared. One person says a little, the other person gets curious, and suddenly you're talking about something neither of you planned.
That's actually how my favorite conversations happen.
Mine too.
I think I always imagined the conversation as one perfect answer.
I've started seeing conversations as lots of small answers instead.
I like that much better.
It also takes away a lot of pressure.
You're right. Instead of trying to tell someone everything about my family, I just need to open one door.
Exactly. Then the other person decides if they want to open another one.
That's a really nice way to think about it.
Imagine someone tells you, I have two sisters.
I'd immediately have questions.
Like what?
I'd probably ask if they're older or younger,
Me too.
or what they do,
Exactly.
or if they all live in the same city,
See, the conversation is already happening.
without anyone trying to make it happen.
That's the best part.
You know what's funny?
What?
When I'm speaking Portuguese, I'd never stop to think about how much to say.
Neither would I.
I'd just answer naturally.
That's because you're thinking about your family, not the language.
I never noticed that before.
The moment English enters the picture, we sometimes stop thinking about real life and start thinking about grammar.
That's exactly what happens to me.
The funny thing is, your family hasn't changed just because the conversation is in English.
That's true.
They're still the same people. You're just talking about them in another language.
I actually like that way of looking at it.
It helps me every time I have to speak English.
So instead of asking myself, what's the perfect answer,
Ask yourself, what's the first thing I'd naturally tell this person?
that feels much easier.
It really is.
So maybe I'd simply say, I have one older brother, my parents live in Brazil, and we're a very close family.
That already sounds warm, natural, and real.
And then I don't have to keep talking if I don't want to,
Exactly. If I'm curious, I'll ask another question.
which I probably would too.
That's how conversations grow.
Speaking of that, I think one of the first follow-up questions I'd hear is, are you close to your family? And I realized there were a few expressions there that I've never been completely sure of.
I know exactly what you mean. I remember hearing people say older brother for the first time and thinking, oh, that sounds much more natural than what I was about to say.
Let me guess, you almost said big brother.
I definitely did.
Really?
Of course, it made perfect sense in my head. Bigger person, big brother.
Honestly, I think I would have done the same.
The funny part is that if you say big brother, people will probably imagine someone who's really tall.
Or someone who spends every day at the gym.
Exactly.
So if my brother's older than me,
Older brother.
and if he's younger,
Younger brother.
That's actually much easier than I expected.
Most natural English usually is.
I like expressions like these because I can immediately imagine myself using them.
Me too. They're the kind of expressions you hear in real conversations all the time.
So I could say, I have one older brother,
Perfect.
or I have two younger sisters.
Exactly.
And if I don't have any brothers or sisters,
Then there's another expression I use all the time.
let me guess, only child.
That's the one.
I really like that expression.
Me too. It's short, natural, and everyone understands it immediately.
I wish someone had taught me that years ago.
Same here.
You know what I find interesting?
Hmm?
These expressions aren't difficult.
Not at all.
They're just hidden.
That's a good way to describe them.
We spend weeks learning grammar, but nobody tells us how people actually describe their families.
Exactly. And then one day you hear someone say, I'm an only child, and you realize you've been missing a really common expression.
I have another question.
Let's hear it.
Imagine someone asks, are you close to your family?
That's a lovely question.
My first instinct would be to answer yes.
And that would already be a perfectly good answer.
But I feel like I'd naturally want to say one more sentence.
I probably would too.
Maybe we usually have lunch together on Sundays.
I love that answer.
Why?
Because now I can picture your family. Before, I only knew you were close. Now I can almost see everyone sitting around the table.
That's true.
Conversations become much more interesting when people can imagine what you're talking about.
Instead of giving more information,
You're giving them a little scene.
that's a beautiful way to describe it.
Think about your own memories.
Okay,
When you remember a family gathering, do you remember facts?
not really.
What do you remember?
I remember the smell of barbecue,
Exactly.
everyone talking at the same time,
Yes.
somebody laughing really loudly,
Uh-huh.
someone bringing more food even though everyone is already full.
Every family has that person.
They always say, come on, eat a little more.
Even after you've already had 3 plates.
Exactly.
See how different this conversation feels now?
Yeah.
We started talking about one brother.
And now we're talking about barbecue.
That's what real conversations do.
They wander a little.
In the best possible way.
I think that's why I enjoy talking to some people so much.
Why do you think that is?
Because they don't answer like they're filling out a form.
I know exactly what you mean.
They answer with little stories
Or little memories.
or funny details.
Exactly.
And somehow, those are the conversations we remember.
They make people feel like they know you even if you've only been talking for 10 minutes.
That reminds me of something my family always does whenever we're together.
Now I'm curious.
It doesn't matter if it's lunch, dinner, or somebody's birthday. At some point, someone starts telling an old family story.
And everyone already knows how it ends.
Every single person.
But nobody stops them.
Never. In fact, people start laughing before the story's even over.
My family does exactly the same thing.
Really?
We have a few stories that come back every year. You'd think people would get tired of them, but somehow they're still funny.
I love that.
It's almost like the story has become part of the family tradition.
Exactly.
And those are the kinds of little things people enjoy hearing.
You're right. If someone asked me about my family, I'd rather tell a story like that than simply list everyone's name.
Me too. Stories make people feel like they're sitting at the table with you.
You know what my family also does?
Let me guess. Everybody talks at the same time.
Every single meal.
I knew it.
Sometimes there are 3 conversations happening at once.
Same in my family.
And somehow everyone still understands everyone else.
I have no idea how that works.
Neither do I.
If someone from another country joined us for lunch, they'd probably think complete chaos had broken out.
They'd ask, who am I supposed to listen to?
And the answer would probably be, good luck.
Exactly.
That's actually something I love about talking about family.
Why?
Because every answer is different.
That's true.
Some people grow up in big families.
Some have just one sibling.
Some are only children.
Some families love big celebrations.
Others prefer quiet weekends together.
And none of those answers are more interesting than the others.
Exactly. They're just different.
I think that's what makes conversations fun.
You're discovering little pieces of someone else's life.
Instead of trying to impress people,
You're inviting them into your world for a moment.
I like that.
Imagine meeting someone while you're traveling.
Okay.
They ask about your family.
Right.
You say, my family loves getting together for barbecue on Sundays.
That already sounds like a real conversation.
And if the other person says, mine too, now you have something in common.
Or maybe they say, in my country, we usually have a big family dinner on Saturdays.
Exactly.
Suddenly, you're not talking about English anymore.
You're talking about life.
That's probably the best part.
I think so too.
The language almost disappears.
Because the conversation becomes more important than the vocabulary.
I never thought learning English would feel like that.
Neither did I.
I always imagined speaking English meant trying to remember grammar rules.
But when you're genuinely interested in another person,
You stop thinking about perfect sentences.
and you start listening.
That's a really good point.
Listening is probably one of the most underrated conversation skills.
I agree.
If someone tells me something interesting about their family, I don't immediately think about my answer.
You think about another question.
Exactly.
That actually makes conversations much easier.
It does.
Because now you're curious instead of worried.
That's a great way to put it.
Speaking of curiosity, I think if someone asked me about my family today, I'd finally know how to answer.
Really?
Yeah, I wouldn't try to tell my whole family story. I'd just start with one small piece and let the conversation grow from there.
I think that's exactly how the best conversations begin.
Let me try putting that into a real answer. I have one older brother. My parents live in Brazil, and we're a very close family. We usually get together on weekends whenever we can.
That already sounds like something you'd actually say.
It does, doesn't it? It doesn't feel memorized.
That's because you're talking about your life instead of trying to build the perfect English answer.
And I can already imagine what the next question might be.
Me too.
What do you usually do together?
Exactly.
I like that. It feels like the conversation is moving naturally instead of me trying to keep it alive.
That's the difference. You're not carrying the conversation anymore. Both people are building it together.
You know, I've noticed something.
Hmm?
I've noticed whenever I meet someone who's easy to talk to, they don't give long answers.
They usually don't.
They just give me something to be curious about.
Exactly.
That's such a simple idea, but I don't think I ever realized it before.
Imagine someone says, I have 3 brothers.
I'd immediately want to know what that was like.
Right.
Were they always fighting?
Or were they best friends?
Who's the oldest?
Who's the funniest?
See, I'm already asking questions.
That's because people are naturally curious about other people's lives.
And that's a lot more fun than asking about grammar.
Much more fun.
Actually, I remember something that happened during one of my trips.
Oh, this sounds interesting.
I met a guy from Canada while I was waiting for a train.
Nice.
We started talking about the city, then food, then travel, and after a few minutes, he asked me about my family.
What did you say?
Honestly, not much.
Really?
I think I said something like, I have one brother.
And then?
Then he asked if my brother liked traveling too.
That's a great follow-up question.
It surprised me because I wasn't expecting it.
Why?
Because I thought we'd keep talking about me.
But instead, he became curious about someone else in your life.
Exactly.
That's actually a sign that he was really listening.
You're right. He wasn't waiting for his turn to speak. He was interested in your answer.
I wish more conversations felt like that.
I think they do when both people are curious. I think that's something else I worry about.
What?
I think sometimes I wonder if my English is too simple.
Really?
Yeah, sometimes I think, should I use more difficult words?
Honestly, I don't think anyone remembers difficult words.
No?
I think people remember good stories.
That's true.
Imagine someone says, my grandmother makes the best chocolate cake in the world.
I'd remember that.
Exactly.
Not because the English is difficult.
Because now you can imagine the cake.
And now I'm hungry.
Me too.
See, one simple sentence created an entire conversation and made us hungry.
That's the power of details.
I think details make conversations feel real.
They do.
Instead of saying, we're a close family, I could say, my mom always calls me on Sunday mornings.
I love that.
Or, my dad never forgets anybody's birthday.
That's another great example.
Or maybe, my brother still borrows my things without asking.
Now that's a family story everyone understands.
I don't even have to explain why it's funny.
Exactly. People already know someone like that.
I think family is one of those subjects that connects people really quickly.
Because everyone has stories.
Some are funny,
Some are emotional.
some are completely chaotic.
And some become the stories families tell forever.
Speaking of family stories, I think I've got one that still makes everyone laugh whenever we remember it.
Now you have to tell me.
It happened at a family barbecue a few years ago.
That already sounds promising.
My uncle was proudly cooking the meat. He kept saying, "Don't worry, everything is under control."
That's always the sentence people say right before something goes wrong.
Exactly.
So, what happened?
He got so busy talking that he completely forgot about the barbecue.
Oh no.
Suddenly, somebody shouted, "The meat!"
Let me guess, it was too late.
Way too late.
I can already imagine everyone's faces.
The funny part is that nobody got upset.
Really?
Not at all. Everyone just started laughing.
That's the best kind of family story.
Every barbecue since then, someone eventually says, "Don't worry, everything is under control."
Even though everyone knows exactly what that means.
Exactly. It's become a family joke.
I love things like that.
Me too. Every family seems to have those little jokes that only make sense if you were there.
That's true.
If I told that story to a stranger, they might smile.
But your family laughs before you even reach the ending.
Because they're remembering the day, not just the story.
Exactly.
Does your family have anything like that?
Oh, definitely.
Really?
Every time we're all together, someone says, "Let's take a family picture."
That sounds normal.
It should be.
I'm guessing it isn't.
It never is.
What happens?
First, nobody knows where to stand.
That's already true in every family.
Then someone blinks.
Of course.
Someone else looks away.
Naturally.
Someone decides it's the perfect moment to tell a joke.
Which means everyone starts laughing.
Exactly.
So how many photos do you usually take?
About 30.
30?
And somehow the best one is usually the one where nobody's looking at the camera.
I completely believe that.
Those pictures always end up being my favorites.
Because they feel real.
Exactly.
You know, that's something I never thought about before.
What?
When people ask about your family, they probably aren't looking for perfect answers.
They're usually looking for moments like these.
Stories,
Memories.
traditions.
Little details.
That's what makes every family different.
Exactly.
And I think those are also the easiest things to talk about.
Why do you think that is?
Because you're not inventing anything.
You're just remembering.
Exactly.
That's probably why those conversations feel so natural.
I also noticed something else.
Hmm?
When we first started talking, I was thinking about English a lot.
When we talked about family stories, I forgot about it too.
We spent almost the whole conversation talking about families.
And English just happened along the way.
I think that's my favorite way to learn.
Mine too.
Instead of studying conversations,
You're having conversations.
that's a big difference.
It really is.
If someone asked me, "Tell me about your family," a few months ago, I probably would have started searching for vocabulary.
And today?
Today, I'd probably start remembering stories.
I love that answer.
Because the words come much more easily when the memory comes first.
Exactly.
I think I'm finally starting to understand that speaking English isn't about collecting perfect sentences.
It's about sharing real moments.
And honestly, families give us plenty of those.
They certainly do.
I think I finally have an answer that actually sounds like me.
I'd love to hear it.
I'd probably say I have one older brother, my parents live in Brazil, and we're a very close family. We love getting together on weekends, especially if there's barbecue. Somehow, every family lunch turns into a long afternoon of stories and laughter.
That sounds completely natural.
The best part is none of that was planned.
Exactly. It sounds like you because it is you.
A few months ago, I would have spent 10 minutes trying to remember impressive vocabulary.
And today, you spent those 10 minutes remembering your family instead.
That's a much better use of my brain.
I agree.
What about you? How would you answer the same question?
I'd probably say I'm very close to my family. My parents still live in Brazil, and I have one younger sister. We don't get together every weekend because everyone has a busy schedule, but birthdays and holidays are non-negotiable. Whenever we're all together, someone starts telling an old family story, someone else can't stop laughing, and before we know it, we've taken way too many family photos.
That's such a warm answer.
It feels real because those things actually happen.
I noticed something interesting.
What?
Our answers were completely different,
They were.
but neither one sounded better than the other.
Because there isn't a perfect answer.
They're just different families.
Exactly.
If I tried to give your answer,
It wouldn't sound like you.
and if you talked about barbecue every weekend,
My family would probably ask who I was talking talking about.
Exactly.
That's why copying someone else's answer never feels comfortable.
You're borrowing their life instead of talking about yours.
That's a great way to describe it.
I think that's something people don't realize when they're learning English,
They spend so much time looking for the perfect example,
that they forget they already have their own stories.
and those stories are always more interesting because they're real.
Actually, can I ask you something I'd probably ask if we had just met?
Go for it.
You said you have a younger sister. Are you too close?
Very close. We don't always see each other as much as we'd like, but we talk all the time. Sometimes it's just a 5-minute phone call, and sometimes we end up talking for an hour without realizing it.
See, that's exactly what we were talking about earlier.
What do you mean?
Your first answer naturally created another conversation.
Exactly.
And now I'm curious about something else.
I had a feeling you would be.
Who usually tells the funniest stories in your family?
Definitely my dad. He somehow makes ordinary situations sound like incredible adventures.
Every family has someone like that.
Does yours have?
Absolutely.
Who is it?
Probably my uncle. He can tell the same story 10 different times, and somehow he keeps getting funnier.
That's a real talent.
The funny thing is, everybody already knows the ending.
But they still laugh.
Every single time.
That's because people aren't just listening to the story.
They're remembering where they were when it happened.
Exactly.
You know what I love about this?
Tell me.
We haven't been talking about English for several minutes.
You're right.
We've just been talking about our families.
And that's exactly what speaking another language should feel like.
Not thinking about English.
But using English to think about people.
I really like that sentence.
Me too.
Looking back at today's conversation, I don't think the biggest lesson was learning expressions like older brother or only child.
Those expressions are useful.
But the biggest lesson was realizing I don't need to tell my whole life story.
One small answer is enough to start.
Then curiosity does the rest.
Exactly.
Before we finish, we'd love to learn something about you too.
Imagine we just met and we're having coffee together.
How would you answer if I asked, tell me about your family?
Write a few sentences in English in the comments. Tell us if you have any brothers or sisters, whether you're close to your family, or maybe share a funny family tradition that always makes you smile.
Don't try to write the perfect answer.
Just write a real one.
We read your comments every week, and honestly, they're one of our favorite parts of making this podcast.
If you enjoyed today's conversation, don't forget to like this episode and follow the channel. It really helps us keep creating new conversations like this every week.
And next time, we'll answer another question that almost everyone hears at some point.
Tell me about your job.
That one's going to be fun.
We can't wait to see you there.
Thanks for spending this time with us.
See you in the next conversation.
Bye.